comes off the compressor, goes to the condensing coil. What's that line called? No. No.
Load line.
We learned that.
You did learn it. It's called a discharge line. The discharge line. That is the section of pipe going from the compressor outlet to the condenser inlet. Inside of that discharge line, I should find what type of refrigerant?
High pressure, high temperature, vapor.
Kind of vapor.
High pressure, high temperature, vapor.
Subcooled, superheated,
Subcooled.
subcooled vapor. Everybody's on board with this. This is why we need the refresher. Anything down here should be vapor. You're absolutely right. Anything on this side should be high pressure, should be high temperature. However, when we subcool refrigerant, what happens to it? It condenses, right? When you subcool and condense refrigerant, what form does it gather in? Liquid. So tell me again, what kind of refrigerant I'm going to find here?
Oh, after the vapor.
So tell me the pressure, temperature, state of matter of this refrigerant
High
right here.
pressure vapor subcool.
I'm going to throw something.
No.
Low pressure, low temp.
High
High
If the pressure is high, the temperature is high. Always hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
I just came in there.
So
I don't
if I've
even know what
got
I'm
high
looking at.
pressure, I should have high temperature, right?
Yeah, vapor.
We already know this is a vapor.
Yeah.
But what we don't know is that it's superheated, apparently.
That's a liquid line,
In order for it to become a vapor, we had to heat that refrigerant up, right? That refrigerant had to absorb heat, it had to boil from a liquid to a vapor. We should only ever experience vapor in or out of the compressor. And if we're in the vapor state, it obviously should be superheated. All right, so we have a high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor coming out of our discharge line of our compressor, going into our condenser, where three things are happening.
Rejects heat.
Rejects heat. What else?
State of change.
Yeah, that's
changes.
what's happening in there.
It changes from
All right,
a liquid.
so we are desuperheating, we are condensing, and then we are subcooling. That's what's happening in the condenser, in that order. In that
From the
order, we're
condenser.
feeding it a high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor, right? That high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor is flowing through the copper tubes inside this condenser, heating that copper tube up. That copper tube has millions of aluminum fins, which expands the surface area, right? So those aluminum fins are absorbing the heat from that copper pipe. Those aluminum fins are then being cooled down by the air being drawn across them, therefore dissipating that heat from the aluminum fins. So what's happening is we are rejecting heat. In that process, we are desuperheating. In other words, removing all the superheat we added to the system. We are condensing that vapor back into a liquid. And then finally, we are cooling that liquid down to subcool that liquid in order to send it back out to the evaporator to absorb more heat. So, we got high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor coming out the discharge line, going into the condenser where we reject heat, we desuperheat, we subcool or condense, and then subcool the refrigerant. So we feed the metering device with a what?
75-25.
I don't care about that shit. I want pressure, temperature, state of matter.
Oh,
And it's not 75-25.
25.
It's not. It's not. We're
Okay.
100% liquid.
All right.
This is reality. We're 100% liquid right here.
Temperature,
It's a what?
high pressure, high temperature liquid.
What kind of liquid?
Subcooled.
There we go. So we got a
Subcooled.
high pressure, high temperature, subcooled liquid.
All the way back to the evaporator, right?
It goes through the metering device. Where what's happening in the metering device? What's it doing?
It gets hot.
The metering device?
Yeah, what's the metering device
Goes through
doing?
the saturation.
It's slowing it down. It's restricting the amount of refrigerant that can actually travel through. If we were to just let all the refrigerant through there without choking down the supply any at all, we would not remove as much heat from the system. So this metering device, his job is to reduce the pressure, right? So he's allowing less refrigerant through. And by proxy, the refrigerant over here would be what?
Low pressure, low temperature.
low pressure, low temperature,
Subcooled.
subcooled,
Liquid.
liquid. That's right. We got liquid in, we got liquid out. So coming out of the outlet of the metering device into the, anybody remember what those lines are called?
Capillary tubes.
Yes, they are capillary tubes, but what are they actually called?
Supply.
Distribution.
Distribution.
Remember, that evaporator is separate circuits, right? So you're gonna have 3, 4, 5, 6 small capillary lines called distribution tubes coming out of your metering device. And it's separating that little bit of refrigerant into separate circuits in the evaporator. So, in going into the evaporator, we've got a low pressure, low temperature, subcooled liquid, where what happens in the evaporator?
It absorbs the heat.
It is absorbing heat, right?
Yeah.
So, we
Let's
are
change the state.
de-subcooling.
Mhm.
What else is going on?
Liquid to a vapor.
Boiling the liquid to a vapor, and then finally what are we doing to the vapor? After we turn it into a vapor, what are we gonna do to it?
You're
We're gonna add more heat to it.
Superheat it.
So we're gonna superheat
Gonna
that vapor,
superheat
that's
that
right.
evaporator.
So, alright, so
Yeah.
coming out of the evaporator, I should have a,
Low pressure.
Low pressure, low
temperature.
Subcooled.
Subcool.
Superheat, I got that.
Low pressure, low temperature, superheat. Vapor.
superheated vapor, that's right. Alright.